Hello, my name is Stitch by Emma, and yesterday I was struck with some inspiration. Before we get into anything, I am a crochet and knitwear designer. I write patterns, I make original pieces. You can check out these pieces and my patterns on my website or the patterns on my Etsy if you're an Etsy truther. I know some people are. And also, before we begin, I do not endorse or support any form of AI, okay? AI sucks. So now that we've got that out of the way, I was struck with inspiration the other day when I posted a video about some of my patterns, and I was like, these are the great patterns you can make for fall. People were asking a lot of questions that I could not get to all of them, if I'm being honest. A lot were rolling through in the DMs, in the comments, and sometimes you just gotta pick and choose. And somebody chose to respond to some people for me and said that if you don't want to make the pattern, you can just go on ChatGPT and ask them to make it for you. So I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. It's gonna turn out so bad. It's gonna turn out bad beyond your wildest dreams. And then I thought, what if I tried that? What if I saw if ChatGPT could recreate one of my patterns? So I typed into ChatGPT. You might, I've never used this before. I'm one of those like old boomer Gen Zers who, like, when my brothers started going to college, we were in college like the same time. I was like a junior, senior. He was a freshman, sophomore, and he would be like, yeah, I just like use ChatGPT to do all my homework. And I was like, I'm not touching that. I'm not going anywhere near that. So this was my first time typing something into it. I didn't know if you had to pay for it. I guess you don't, but you can like log in. So I'm gonna show the pattern that it gives me in like the corner so that you can follow along. You can see that I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making anything up. This is what it gave me, okay? My hypothesis that I'm hoping to prove is that ChatGPT cannot recreate a crochet pattern, nor do they know the ins and outs and the intricacies that come with gauge and sizing and tension and hook size and just like all of that. Okay, so I thought the easiest thing to recreate could be Ophelia, because it's just like a mesh top, but I was like, that would be way too difficult. So I'm wearing a very basic, simple mesh top that I made a while back. It's just mesh, just the mesh stitch. So this is what we're trying to get it to make. Okay, this is it. If it can come anywhere near this, I'll give it credit. I'll give it some credit. So I typed in word for word, make me a pattern for a crochet mesh top. And so let's begin. The first thing that really caught my attention was the gauge, because the gauge said that we need to make 4 double crochets and 4 rows with a 5mm hook and a worsted yarn, and that would come out to a 4-inch square. First of all, it's a rectangle. Second of all, it didn't say whether or not the chain 3 to like chain for double crocheting counted in this square, but in all of the further instructions it does. So I chose that to do 3 double crochets with the chain 3 for turning, work into that chain 3 for the rest of it. So I measured this. This is 1.5 inches by 3 inches. So my first dilemma is, do we go with the hook that it recommends and the yarn, or do we try and up it to meet the gauge? And I think I'm gonna try and up it just to meet their gauge that they're giving me a little bit. We're following this word for word, okay? If people think that AI can write a crochet pattern as good as a human can, then we're gonna see. We're gonna test it, and we're gonna see if it turns out anything like my top. I can already tell that this is gonna be a little bit disastrous. So I'm sizing up to a 6mm hook, and the thing is, a 4-inch square with 4 double crochets means that every stitch is gonna be a full inch. That is a massive gauge. I don't think that gauge like even exists unless you're working with like super bulky yarn. And this is supposed to be worsted yarn. Oh my god. Okay. If we can get one part of the gauge to match, like if this hits 4 inches high, I might just like roll with it. But I don't know. Like, are we supposed to listen? Are we supposed to listen to every instruction it gives? Because if you were somebody who was just following this pattern thinking that it was gonna work, you know, just like a beginner crocheter who asked ChatGPT to make them a pattern, do you think that they would follow all of the instructions like right off the bat, like be sure to meet gauge? Because that's what we're supposed to be doing this as if like we've never read a pattern before. Okay, here's the new gauge rectangle. gauge square my ass. Okay, measuring tape. The bottom, it's 2 inches if I stretch it, and it's still like 3.5 inches tall. I don't even think I have a hook that would be big enough to make each stitch a full inch. I'll size up one more, I guess. We'll do 7 millimeters. The thing with crochet gauges is that like, it's different than knit, because knit, you use it to calculate like exactly how many stitches. You can't really try knit on as you go the same way you can with crochet. So if it's close enough, I'm usually like, yeah, this is an okay like yarn and hook to use. It's more to like gauge, you know, how it's gonna look, if it's gonna look the same. But like I said, with knit, you know, it's figuring out the math and the calculations. It's a lot more than that. But like, this is not even close. There is no way I'm gonna get close to this. Okay, we're almost done with our last cage row. Measuring tape. Our bottom row is 2 inches halfway, and it is about 4 inches tall after stretch. So we're gonna go with the 7 millimeter hook. By that math, it would take at least like a 14 millimeter hook to get the bottom gauge that they're going for. So I don't even think I have a hook that big. I think my biggest hook is 12 millimeters. Shame. All right, we're gonna start with the back panel now. Foundation chain. Chain 65 are enough for your desired width. I'm gonna do exactly what it says. If you're unfamiliar with how crochet patterns work, you either are gonna have a graded pattern or a made to measure. So a made to measure will tell you which measurement to plug in. If that's in inches or centimeters, it'll tell you like what to plug in, which measurement to chain to. But like desired width of what? Our shoulders, our bust, our waist. What is our desired width of this? I don't know. I also want to point out, it says that this is meant to make a size medium. I wear like a small medium in tops depending on how I want it to fit. So if this is like slightly big on me, then it'll be the right size. So that's what we're aiming for. Okay, we have 65 chains across. This is the foundation for our front panel. And keep in mind, this is half the gauge. Okay, row 1, double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. Alrighty, I can do that. And then double crochet all the way across. Okay, I can do that. Speaking of like AI, I've been getting like these weird emails that are definitely scams, but out of nowhere, I started getting a bunch of emails of people like pretending to be moms asking for crochet commissions for their son, which like is just very strange to me. I've never gotten something like that before in my life, like baby sons. And nowhere on my page does it indicate that like I make clothes for babies. All of my clothes are for like girls who want to have fun at the club or girls who want to like cosplay as fairies and witches and shit. So nowhere does it indicate that I make baby clothes or children's clothes or like amigurumi. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've always struggled with how to pronounce that word. But I don't make stuffed animals. I never post about making them. And I got a email the other day from this woman and it was like, hi, I would love to commission you to make like a sweater for my son and a toy and a hat for him. And it was the first email I got and it seemed legit at first, but the big like giveaway was that it started with just dear. It just said dear. And like no emails usually start with hello dear unless they're from like scammy bots. They all start with hello dear. So I almost like responded and was just like, oh no, commissions are closed, sorry. But then I got 2 more back to back, just worded like slightly differently, being like, I love your work, I'm so familiar with your work and I would love to commission something for my son. And I was like, okay, there's no way that all of these boy moms found me and they all wanted this. I'm like, this is so bizarre because I don't really take commissions in the first place unless like and I've stated this on my website. I'm like, unless I announce an official like commissions open form or I like know you personally, I'm not gonna take a commission, especially right now. I'm busy. I'm a busy girl. So like I was gonna say no anyway, and I'm guessing like the scam is that like they get you to say yes and they offer you a lot of money and then they're like, I can only pay through like PayPal, can you please give me like your bank information and I'll wire it straight to you, which like even if I got to that point I wouldn't be dumb enough to do that, but still it's a weird scam. It's weird to be like pretending to be like a mom and like play on the empathy of like somebody who makes clothes. I don't know, it's so strange. I'm starting to get the feeling this is gonna take me like all day, so this video better do well because I don't want to waste my time on an ugly ass top that's not gonna fit me. I also just want to say, before we start to see results of this, I am a good crocheter, okay? I promise, I swear. I'm a good crocheter. My work is good. It usually turns out very lovely. I'm experienced. This does not reflect my skill as a crochet artist, okay? Thank you, and I hope that you believe me. All right, row 1 is done. Row 2, chain 3, counts as 1 DC, turn, and DC in each row across. I don't know when we're getting to the mesh. No mesh yet. So I just finished watching Desperate Housewives. I went through that so fast. I just watched it while I worked every day, and oh my god, it flew by so fast. It was so good and so fun and campy. It is crazy how almost every single like teen drama or like just modern like drama soapy show that came after that just takes their plot lines. Like it has every single possible plot line that you could think of. It's amazing. I felt a bit of an empty hole without it. It's the same that I felt after I finished Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time. I did go back the other night and rewatch some of my favorite episodes of Buffy. I rewatched Something Blue, if you're familiar. It's the one where Willow like casts a spell where everything she says is like to her will, and she wills that like Giles is blind and Buffy and Spike are getting married and they start planning a wedding, and I don't know, I had a glass of wine and I watched it and it was the funniest shit I've ever seen. I love that stuff. I need to find another long-term show to try and fill the void that Desperate Housewives left in me. I rewatched the pilot of The X-Files last night, and all I could think was, how did they slow burn this relationship for 7 seasons? Because there are like 10 moments alone in the pilot where it looks like they're about to kiss, or like you can tell they want to kiss. Their chemistry's crazy, and the fact that they like did not like go full romantic with that like right off the bat is nuts to me. Love that show. I love The X-Files. Like between today and yesterday I binged the Decameron, not totally sure how it's pronounced, on Netflix. It's the one about the Black Plague in like the 1300s, and I was kind of surprised that some of the reviews are like really negative on that because I thought it was fun. I had a good time. I love anything like medieval themed. I kind of just like enjoy anything from like that relative time period. I find it very fascinating, even if it's not like, you know, historically accurate or anything. I just think it's really fun, and I thought the cast was like really funny and just a great cast. So I definitely recommend that if you enjoy like satirical comedies or just like anything, you know, historical fiction like that, I guess. Sorry, I'm just kind of like trying to fill the void and talk to you guys a little bit while we get this foundation going. Let's get this show on the road. I can't wait to see the mesh part. I think it's gonna look really good. I also get tired of like holding my crochet up, so I'm just like holding it down on my leg and working on it. All right, row 2. Sorry, I feel like my hair is like kind of whack today. I don't really know what my bangs are doing. They keep just flouncing around. Row 3, chain 3 and turn. All right, 1, 2, 3. We get into the good stuff now. All right, skip 1 double crochet in the next, and repeat, and then repeat from asterisk across. Okay, so it says repeat from asterisk across, but there is no asterisk. There is no asterisk aside from that asterisk. I'm even going into the further rows. I'm going to assume that they mean the chain 3, skip 1 double crochet and double crochet in the next. So, okay. All right, if we're doing mesh in this way, where we just skip 1 double crochet all the way around, and because it says we're gonna have 32 double crochets total, which is half of what we had before. So I'm guessing the chain 3 is going to be a part of that repeat, right? Because otherwise there wouldn't be mesh. So this is going to very drastically increase if we're only skipping 1, because usually it's not how mesh is done. Oh, I'm so excited to see how this turns out. I'm sorry, I can't get over repeat from asterisk across when there's no asterisk is so funny. It's like they tried to mimic like the setup of like a repeat from between the asterisks or between the parentheses, but like just didn't put them in. God, I love AI. I love ChatGPT. Inject this shit into my veins. I wonder if this is gonna be wearable, like at all. That's my thing. I wonder if like it's actually gonna make like sleeve holes and like a neckline or anything that you can actually like wear. All right, we finished row 3. Here's our mesh. Yeah, rows 4 through 10. Okay, so this is a repeat now. Chain 3 and turn. Double crochet in each double crochet across. So we're not repeating the mesh. Hold on. Okay, so there's no more like mesh stitching. We're just doing double crochets in the double crochets, because it doesn't say anything about repeating the turning chain here, right? I'm talking to you guys like Dora. Do you see the repeat asterisk? Me neither. All right, so that, like I said, we're following it. Oh my god, it's already looking so bad. We're following it word for word. I'm taking its advice. It knows best, you guys. ChatGPT knows best. Better than me, better than you, better than our grandmothers who taught us how to crochet. It's the smartest thing in the planet, and we should bow down. It exists to generate videos of what a Simpsons live action movie would look like if Adam Sandler directed it. Okay? I don't know if any of y'all saw that video on Twitter. It did not have many likes, so I don't know how it got pushed to me. Just put random celebrities like AI'd into Simpsons costumes and was like, The Simpsons if it was directed by Adam Sandler. It put in, God, what is his name? It put in a picture of Finn Wolfhard AI generated into being Milhouse, and it said like Gaten Matarazzo, whatever his name is, the guy who plays Dustin, as Milhouse. And I was like, hold on a damn second, that's not even the right kid, that's not even the right person. Also, they're like adults now. They're like, how, like 19 or 20 now? Like, I feel like they're not like 5 anymore. Maybe they're like 18. I think Millie Bobby Brown is the oldest, and she's like married now, right? She's like Millie Bobby Bon Brown Jovi. Is that like, what would be the proper way to say that? Bon Jovi's first name Bon, or is his last name Jovi, or is his name just like Bon, or is his last name Bon Jovi? I think this AI is rotting my brain. All right, guys, here's how our mesh top is looking so far. It is completely caving in because we're just double crocheting now. I have to do this row 5 more times, so I'm gonna do that off camera for my own sanity. Okay, we're at row 11 now, where it says we're going to do the sleeve shaping, shape the armholes. So we're going to chain 3 and turn, and double crochet in the first 12 stitches, okay? 1, 2, okay. Now here's, when I saw this in the pattern, I gasped. So we are going to skip the next 8 stitches to create the armhole. No chains, no cutting off or reattaching the yarn. We're just gonna skip 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna go right here. There's our armhole, guys. There's our one armhole on the back of it. Okay, and then it says double crochet in the next 12, but the 24 double crochets each side is throwing me off. Does that mean we're supposed to have 24 double crochets like total, and that's like on this side of the back panel, or are we supposed to have 24 double crochets like on each side of the armhole? Because that math just doesn't add up if we're only supposed to have 32 in the first place. Do you catch my drift? Like, does that make sense? I'm dying over this, you guys. It is so funny. Ooh, it could be like a poncho. Okay, so now it says chain 3 and turn, double crochet in each double crochet across, including across the gap. Okay, so across the gap, is that just like this double crochet that we did there? That's what I'm gonna assume. I'm gonna be so real with you guys. I don't think my arm can fit through that. I don't think anybody but a baby can, oh wait, it's stretchy, never mind, you guys. You know what, maybe this is gonna be kind of slay. You know, maybe I'm gonna take back everything I said and just be like, this is how I'm gonna make all my patterns from now on. So 13 through 18, we just repeat. And the back panel ends there. It doesn't say to fasten off, but I'm going to assume that we fasten off afterwards because otherwise... Okay, so I changed out of the mesh shirt. It was just getting way too hot in here. So we're on to the Claro merch now. But, okay, here's what the completed back panel looks like. Yeah, gorgeous, stunning, beautiful. And I didn't want to spoil the pattern of the front panel for you yet because it killed me a little bit. It started with repeat rows 1 through 10. We're done, we've got that. And then it goes straight into shape neckline. So there's no second sleeve, and the neckline starts on the same row that the sleeve starts. So let's just think like, you know, anatomy-wise, that it's not gonna work, but we're gonna do it because AI knows best. I'm also very close to running out of the yarn that I'm using, so I brought in some backup purple, so there might be like a little color switch. It'll be chic. It's not like I'm gonna wear this anyway because I don't think I'll physically even be able to if I wanted to. We're gonna have to model it though somehow. Okay, so shape neckline, chain 3 turn, double crochet in the first 8, chain 10, skip 10 for neckline. These are my awards, mother, from Army for neckline. Double crochet in the last 8. Okay, so for this one, so the front panel, we're making the neckline in the middle of the front panel, but the back panel has the sleeve in the middle of the back panel, so there's no sleeves on the side, but we are chaining to create the... This is awesome. This is awesome. I've never been so happy with something before to just prove how horrible these AI patterns are. Okay, let's go. Double crochet in the first 8. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, chain 10, skip 10 for neckline, remember? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then double crochet. This is my neckline, mother. Oh my god! Doesn't even go over my head. Beautiful. Alright, if you've never seen Arrested Development, I probably sound crazy, and I keep going like, this is my neckline, mother. It's from Arrested Development. Lucille signs her son up for the army, and then he keeps just saying, for army, and he comes home with a bunch of stuffed animals. He goes, these are my awards, mother, from Army. And it's something that me and my boyfriend quote to each other all the time, and I forget that that's not in like people's regular vocabularies. It might be, and if it is, we'd probably be good friends. But yeah. Once again, there's the math doesn't make any sense. It says that we're gonna have 8 double crochets on each side of this neckline, and then it ends with 16 double crochets each side. So again, assuming it means like 6 double crochets on this side of the front panel, 16 double crochets on the side of the front panel, but there's no indication as to where those 16 would be if it says to double crochet 8. If it wanted 16, it would say double crochet 16. Cause when you're 16 and somebody tells you they love you, you're going on a row 12, and when you're chain 3 turn, double crochet in each one across. Double crochet in each double crochet across, including across the gap. They keep saying including across the gap, and I know that they mean like, oh, it's not even like even, it looks so bad. When they say including across the gap, do they mean like 1 in each chain, or do they mean like just put 1 in there? I'm gonna do each chain because I know that that's probably what their little robotic brain is trying to say but can't get out because they're just not experts like me. I love outsmarting computers. Something also interesting about this front panel pattern that you might notice if you're looking at it is it's 2 rows shorter than the back panel, but the neckline is still in the middle. So that's usually if you want to like straighten out a neckline, you would make the neckline a little shorter, and then you would do some extra stuff on the side here, and then you guys know this stuff, you're smart. You know who's not smart? This guy, Miss ChatGPT. I'm very curious how they're gonna have us seam this up, because are we just gonna have like two holes in the middle of each, front and back, and then no armholes really? It is gonna be a poncho. And again, in rows 13 through 16, it says double crochet in each, double crochet across, 16 each side. If we're crocheting across that gap, there's no more sides. We should be back to how many initial chains we had going into this row. So we would have like the 32 that we were doing before, right? Right? That would make sense. If we chain 10 and then skip 10 stitches, you're really not skipping or changing the amount of stitches. So, all right, give me some privacy while I finish up these last 3 rows. Okay, so both of our panels are done, but now we've moved on to seam sides, and there are a couple issues here. So let's read it together. With the right sides together, sew the side edges of the back panel to the corresponding edges of the front panel, leaving openings for armholes. I thought we already made armholes, so if this is canonically supposed to be an armhole, okay, and this is canonically supposed to be the neck hole, how is this, like, what's the right edge? What's the right sleeve? Oh, my earring, it's stuck on my moon. What is the right side? Which one is the right way? And the thing is, I'm afraid to take this off. Another thing that is an issue is this panel is not only 2 rows shorter than this panel, but we decreased down to 24 stitches in this one, and this one stayed at 32. So they're not gonna line up evenly. It's not gonna look equal, and I'm honestly like a little not knowing how to go forward with this. I'm not totally sure how to continue from this point. Do we do what it says and make sleeve holes on the side and then leave these to be beautiful little boob holes? I'm not sure. Also, creating sleeves, optional. For a mesh sleeve, make a chain long enough to go around the armhole, then work a double crochet in each chain around the armhole, joining in the round. Continue with double crochet in each double crochet for desired sleeve length, fasten off, and weave in ends. So it doesn't ever say to attach this, which means we'd have like detached sleeves that go around the armhole. So I think just because it says optional, I'm gonna leave that out, and you can, like, in your imagination, just picture my sleeves. And I'm gonna look ahead to neckline edging too, so we can see what to do. Neckline edging. Attach yarn to the neckline with a slip stitch. Work 1 round of double crochet or a decorative stitch of your choice around the neckline. Fasten off and weave in ends. Okay, so it never says anything else about another neckline, which means that this is the neckline. Yes? But it only says to sew up the sides. It never says to seam the top together. So we're gonna do just what it says. We're gonna seam up the sides and make room for an armhole. We'll make the front panel longer, okay? It's looking like a tutu. You know, like the flare of the bottom here, like this little design for a little bit, like right here, could be cute in like a skirt, if that's what we were going for. But this is supposed to be a shirt, and it doesn't make any sense. And if this was a skirt, I don't think you would want this. I know I'm breaking the rules here, but I am going to slip stitch the edges together instead of sewing, because all of my darning needles are downstairs and I just don't feel like making that journey right now. Okay, so I'm gonna attach at the bottom, leaving some of the back side open, and then I'm just gonna seam up to like right here where like the armhole would be. I'm gonna be so honest, so real with you guys. There will be no end sewing on this. There's gonna be no end sewing because end sewing is for when you want to wear something out, when you want to go flaunt it. I don't even sew in all the ends sometimes, like until I wear it out. Even if I'm making like an official post about it, I'll sew in anything that's like visible and then the inside is still just like a bloody mess. It can be relaxing sometimes, I won't lie, just because like, I don't know, sometimes it just vibes, but this time I don't want to. I have no desire. Sewing in ends too is just, it's such like a final thing. You know, like this is my last step and then I have this like beautiful piece of clothing that I can wear and like look at the hard work that I did. I'm making it so professional and official. There is nothing professional and official about this baby right here. This is my armhole right here. Keep in mind, this is still the neck hole. That's still the neck hole. It also said to like match up your right side and your wrong side, but there was no indication ever of like which side would be a right or a wrong side. I didn't think that was like information they had to give, you know? I wanted to show all the instructions like as we went to you guys, so you knew that there was like no way that I was exaggerating or like making stuff up to make it look worse, because it would be so easy to just like con people like that and be like, oh my god, ChatGPT told me to make the worst crochet pattern and I just like make stuff up as I go. I wanted to make sure that you read every instruction with me and that you knew exactly like what it was telling me to do, and we talked through all of my like steps and thought processes while trying to figure out what it wanted me to do. And you know, maybe if you interpreted something different, like that's okay, but you have to admit that like if a crochet pattern leaves room for interpretation like that, it's not gonna end well for anybody. Our sides are seamed up for the sleeves. We left room for the armholes, even though we already have armholes. Armhole. We already have an armhole. And so that's our wrong side now. Okay. And we're not attaching anything for the neckline because now we have to do neckline edging and attach the yarn and work one round of double crochet or a decorative stitch of your choice. What decorative stitch do you guys want to do? We're just gonna do double crochet. It doesn't say to do any kind of like chaining for turning here, but I'm gonna do that anyway because I just know that that's how you start it. I love that we're low-key making this like a turtleneck. It's also gonna shrink the neckline because these are very wide stitches, and to work in around here is going to shrink it very much so. It also doesn't say anything about slip stitching in the round, like when you finish a round of double crochets that you need to like slip stitch back in to keep going. But anyway, you guys, she's done. Here is your, I love the little note at the end. It says, adjust pattern as needed for fit and design preferences. Enjoy your crocheted mesh top. So I want to make sure I wear this in a way that utilizes the proper neckline and the sleeve. So there we go, I guess. It's abstract in a way, you know, maybe I'm actually starting a new fashion trend with this. You know, maybe we can work with this. We can make this something. It's kind of slay. Not very functional. Let's see, what about the arm on the other side? Twist it around. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You guys remember the initial prompt that I wanted it to make? Just a basic mesh crochet top. This is what we wound up with. Let's get an official model shot. Oh yeah. 360, 365. So if this is your jam, I would so recommend ChatGPT if you would like to crochet something that makes no sense, has no shape, or no sizing. If you want to make a pattern made by humans, tested by humans, for humans, please support artists, even if it's not me. Of course, I'd love it if you bought some of my patterns. I work really hard on them and I think they're so cute. But there are so many talented crochet and knitwear artists that work so hard on getting their patterns to be perfect for you. So if you don't want to support artists and you'd rather like plug instructions into a robot and hope for the best, this is the risk you're taking. This is gonna be the outcome. It's not gonna be good because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know. AI is the worst for artists and just anybody who is trying to get original ideas out there. It steals and it knocks off and it never does even a fraction of a good of a job, as you can see. So our moral of the story today is just support artists, support real humans. AI art is garbage and trash no matter what form it comes in, and the fact that people are trying to trust it to give instructions for creation, whether it's something on a small scale of like crochet patterns to something on a larger scale that I don't even know of like a good example to think of right now, because I'm going to say something stupid and people are going to be like, nobody really does that, and I'm not open to that kind of criticism today. Okay, I've had a rough week. I'm very, very tired. So yeah, that about wraps up our video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time. I did. I had fun making this. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Maybe I'll just like keep it for a lesson to teach people lessons in the future. But yeah, if you want to check out some of my original pieces, I have pieces on my website, I have patterns on my website, as well as my Etsy, ranging from beginner to more advanced and all that fun stuff. Subscribe, like, whatever YouTubers are supposed to say at the end. Thank you for watching. Bye.